Hey, welcome to Awesome Life Podcast. I'm Karen Stultz, your host, and I am here today with an amazing guest. I've known her for a little while now. She's actually from my present home state of Maine, and we got connected a few years back, and she is the most amazing lady working with moms. And she has created a podcast that we'll talk about a little bit, but her journey has been tremendous. That's all I can say. Absolutely tremendous. And we'll talk about that too. But I really wanted Chelsea Fournier to join me today on Awesome Life Podcast, because we are a podcast for women in transition who are trying to find what is their joy. And of course, women come in all ages and all needs and desires for where they are. And Chelsea works with moms. Let me read her mission statement for where she is now, where she is out to help 100 moms add an extra $2,000 a month to their family budget through purposeful and profitable online businesses. And don't you love online businesses? Thank you, Chelsea, for joining me today. And she is an amazing mom. I got to tell you, she is absolutely amazing. She knows whereof she speaks.
Well, so, I'm excited to be here. It is an awesome life, and we've got to connect with others living an awesome life these days, don't we?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So, Chelsea, tell our listeners how this all began, because you certainly, when I saw your picture the first time around, you were definitely not a mom.
I was not a mom, right? I think we met on LinkedIn. I love the power of LinkedIn several years ago, potentially. And I'm 38 years old at the time we're recording this. And I feel like I've had a couple different lifetimes, especially around careers and transformations. And I think, you made it sound beautiful, but sometimes it's messy when you're a person who's gone through lots of transformations, but sometimes mess is just part of designing an awesome life. So I own it.
Yeah, it's all our journey. Without those messes, we wouldn't know where we need to go next.
It's so true. It's so true. And I think when we connected, I was still practicing law full time. So my background professionally through training was first as a business lawyer. So I helped all kinds of really cool entrepreneurs get their own ideas out into the world, whether it was setting up a bar, or a restaurant, or I worked with a lot of healers and did their contracts and trademarks, had really cool different niches. And I really loved so much of what I did. But Karen, as a woman who I knew, even from the beginning of, just my whole life, I've wanted to be a mom. And so I was working in this very type A personality career with someone who is now, I can say, a recovering perfectionist, healing a lot of trauma responses that maybe put me down that path. And I was burning myself out because I was showing up for the partners. I was showing up for my clients. I was showing up for everybody except my own body.
Except for you. Mm-hmm.
And so I was in this position where I was looking at really no role models or mentors in my profession as far as women that I could look to. So many amazing, brilliant women who I valued their mind and their strategy and their negotiation skills, but I wasn't really finding someone match up with like, oh, they also have a home life. They also have good health. They also take care of themselves. And so I started to realize maybe this isn't it for me. Mm-hmm. I got to a place, and I don't know if any of your listeners can relate to this, but I have struggled with anxiety my entire life in different versions, different severity levels.
And I think everybody does.
Right? In some level, right? Mm-hmm. And there was a period of time where I actually used to leave my law firm office to go sit in my car to have my anxiety attacks, to the point where I wouldn't be able to breathe because I didn't want my partners or the people who I was working with to know that I had a weakness. Mm-hmm. And if you are a woman who's in a male-dominated industry, which is many, you know that it can be challenging to even have low-level emotions and still feel like you can be respected. But if you struggle with anxiety, just imagine, like, I was in my suit and heels clomping out to the parking garage waving at people, walking through, in this energy of like, I need to break down and I need to do it in private.
Yeah.
And that was really crappy. That was a crappy season of life I was in some ways, but in some ways I look back and there was a lot of richness. But I was in a marriage to someone I can now, looking back, admit was an addict. And there was a lot of stress, a lot of chaos in my life, in my personal life, while I was still practicing law. And so all of this to say, in that chapter of life, I still had this glimmer of hope of like, I wonder if there's some way that I could make income, that I could actually make an impact, feel really purposeful. Like, I used to Google things like, can you work from home legit? Like, can you make money podcasting, or can you blog? And I just had this idea that like, there's going to be an online business that makes sense. And this was back in like 2010, 2011, where I knew, and I started listening to Pat Flynn's podcast. I started reading like the 4-Hour Work Week, all these kind of thought leaders, Tim Ferriss at the time, that were just inspiring to me of like, oh, not everybody makes a living with a billable hour. That's interesting.
Wow.
Right?
How amazing is that? How amazing is that?
Yeah,
And they can enjoy life, and they don't have to be sick, and they don't, wow.
Yeah. So I had these glimmers of hope of what maybe an awesome life would look like. And it's not to say like in the moment, I'm someone who tends to have great gratitude and great resilience, no matter what phase of life I'm in, but I can look back on that phase and feel some empathy for the version of me that was really just not setting boundaries, not holding high value for my own health, for my own mental health as well. I'm a huge mental wellness advocate now.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that stress, kind of to come full circle to why I'm doing what I'm doing now, because of that stress and the health impacts, I actually went through several years of navigating infertility. So I knew I always wanted to be a mom. I was trying to make my career, have some kind of a path where I could envision having a family. But in large part, because we do know that I did heal myself naturally, I was told I'd probably never be able to get pregnant naturally. But in that marriage, in that first marriage, I was in the space of just constantly feeling like a failure because I couldn't do the one thing that there was a lot of pressure for me to do, which was to get pregnant. And so it started me on a path of really diving into all natural health. I know that you and I have spoken about lots of different modalities that we've both explored or connect on. And I did it almost by force of saying, it was almost to the point where if it was just impacting me, if my stress, if my adrenal fatigue, like if all pushing myself to the nth degree only affected me, I don't know if I would have had the breakdown.
Yeah.
Well, once I was told on the phone by a doctor, you'll probably keep going the way you're going, you'll probably never have a child naturally. Whew, that was a wake-up call. I was in Vegas. I was in Las Vegas when I got that call. And I did what any unhealthy person would do. I went and got drunk, which was not what I would recommend of how to cope with difficult news, but it's where I was then. I don't even drink now. But, I was in that space of like, wow, a huge part of the vision for my life might not happen unless I slow down, unless I connect to my body, unless I acknowledge there's a problem, that I should not have to leave my office to go have an anxiety attack on a regular basis. That's not healthy. And so it started really about a decade of me really finding new layers, whether it's lifestyle changes, diet changes, supplement routines, energy work. Like I'm constantly, even now, looking for what's the next thing that's going to help me on my healing journey, whether it be different types of therapy or breath work, all kinds of things that just come into my life now that I'm an open channel for being open to this. And it's also helped me to start to learn a lot about some of my strengths, things that come very naturally to me, like being in good habits and routines and structure and foundation, because I have been an online business owner for the past about 8 or 9 years, and I haven't gone bankrupt yet. I haven't, gone to the looting.
Not only
yet,
that,
right?
but you've been quite successful. And you've been able to leave the state of Maine now and go to a wonderful new life.
Absolutely. In this chapter, once I decided I deserved more, it's funny, once you decide you deserve more, things unfold if you're in that channel of being open. And I'm sure a lot of the listeners
make it really clear to the world, to the universe, that, all right, this is not going to work anymore. We need a change, and we need it now.
Absolutely. And once I was able to get super clear on that, I actually manifested the most amazing supportive partner for me. So I was able to walk away from that first marriage. Now, if you ever hear me and follow me talk about my amazing, I call him Hub Daddy, my husband, and also daddy of our baby. Um, I truly believe I manifested it because I finally got clear on who I was and what I needed in a relationship. And we're adventurous spirits. So we got married on a New Year's Eve and we came down to a little beach town on the coast in North Carolina for our honeymoon. And we ended up moving
to North Carolina.
We did. So then fast forward a couple of years later, we were able to get pregnant. We have, at the time of recording this, he's going to be turning 2 in just a couple of weeks. And so
wow.
we have the busiest, chattiest, almost 2-year-old I've ever known. And he's got big thoughts. He's got a lot to tell the world. He'll be a guest on your podcast down the road, I'm sure. And so we have a lot of things that have unfolded. And just deciding who I want to serve, how I want to serve them, how I can take some of the strengths that I have and turn it into a business for myself that helps others and kind of transition into new visions for what awesome life can be.
And serves you so that you can enjoy that wonderful little boy of yours.
Yes.
And enjoy your husband and your family and create that lifestyle business. That is what having an awesome life is, connecting that lifestyle with income. And you have really transitioned a little bit along the way because you were into the health and wellness multi-level marketing, which was very wonderful. And that's actually how we met as well, because I was in doTERRA at the time. And I still, in having an awesome life, I still encourage both areas. Absolutely. But now you have kind of transitioned into something else that is I think the transition is what is so great about having an awesome life, is the fact that simply because you change, you don't have to be stuck with it for the rest of your life. It sounds inspiring. Let's give it a shot. Let's have some fun. Let's make it great. And when things start not being as enjoyable, then you start looking at other things, as you say, finding new ways of feeling better, of making a difference. And I love the fact that you are now working with moms and you have your own podcast and your own way of reaching people and how you are supporting them. So tell us more about your podcast. I love it.
Absolutely. So on the name of it, I'll give a little preface. It's just kind of fun that the word for the year for me in 2020 was alignment. And so if something 2021. And so if something didn't feel aligned and alignment, it was just like kind of a barometer I was using. Do things feel easy and joyful? And at the time, back this spring, I was just starting to feel like the alignment I had with the MLM I was with just didn't feel in alignment. I couldn't necessarily explain it. I'm a very intuitive, energetic person. And so I started connecting with other people who were in MLM still happy and successful, and also looking for mental wellness as a part of the alignment, because I'm always very honest, anxiety has been a part of my life, but it was a deep and dark part of my postpartum life. And so I had a very deep postpartum anxiety, some hallucinations, nightmares, like vivid. You can just feel crazy when hormones are taking over your body. But so if any of your listeners are listening and you're in that or wanting just resources, that's just something I always put out there in case someone is saying, I just need someone who's not going to think I'm crazy. I'm not a counselor, I'm not a therapist, but I can point you in the directions of some amazing resources that I utilized. And so in that point of transition of me now starting to feel stronger, having really great support around my mental wellness, I decided to change kind of my focus. And so I wanted to be able to offer products from a health and wellness standpoint, specifically around mental wellness, because it is such a huge part of every conversation I have with moms who want to be an entrepreneur or just want to be well for their family. And then I also started to just think about, in the day and age we're in, things have changed, right? Lots of people are starting to work from home, work remotely. Maybe some families are deciding they want to homeschool because things are changing in their community, or they just are reassessing what's an awesome life look like right now, right?
Exactly.
And maybe thinking a little bit more outside the box. I have friends who have sold their homes and they're doing RV trips across the country with their kids to homeschool. Like, I think people have a little bit of a lifting of the lid. And there's a lot of moms who are saying, I see other moms crushing it in online businesses, retiring their spouses or paying down debt. I don't know how the heck they're doing it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of moms right now who are saying, I would love to have something that I could do online, contribute to the household budget, or maybe saying, I have an online business in MLM or affiliate marketing or coaching or whatever they're providing, breath working, energy work, but I don't know how to take it to the next level without it consuming my life.
Exactly.
And that's a conversation I kept having and was like, I'm really good at helping people make routines. I'm really good at helping people figure out how to structure their life. And you know what, darn it, I'm really good at helping people make money online. And so then as I said that, I was like, but does that matter? And then I was like, wait, I'm really good at helping people make money online without it consuming their life. Who needs that, right? In this day and age.
Who needs that? Just about everybody.
Just about everybody. And that's when I came up with the mission was to help 100 moms to add an extra $2,000 a month to their family budget, because I feel like that's enough to feel like this is going somewhere. And if you can learn to make 200 a month, you can learn how to make 2,000. If you can learn how to make 2,000, you can learn how to make 20,000. It's just about creating systems, creating automation, growing it bigger than yourself. And so I decided, okay, well, if I talk about habits and routines and how to figure out your priorities and your action steps and your goals and like all of this left brain stuff, I'm your routine queen. I'm the one who's going to help you figure out routines so that you can just stop trying to juggle it all, which is such a crappy statement. Oh, I'm just juggling it all. Well, no, you're not. If you're juggling it all, that means nothing's getting the appropriate amount of attention to actually move forward. And so I've really developed some resources for moms who have a business of how to start really getting on top of their priorities, their goals, their to-do lists, their automation, their delegation, creating a business bigger than themselves so it can grow. If someone is listening and is saying, I've been thinking about it, I've been watching moms, I've been figuring out, could I do this? Do I have what it takes? I've got support of helping to launch an online business with my mentoring. And for everyone in between, there's podcasts, there's free resources, there's quizzes, just like really cool resources, because I want moms who want more to know that you're not a bad mom for wanting more, whether it's more purpose, more income, whatever that. I think of life as like, did you ever play Trivial Pursuit?
Oh, yeah.
And it has the little pie wedges. So I think sometimes, especially for moms, depending on the season of momming, how old your kid or kids are, it can feel like you have to have all of your pies are just one color, just your family. And it can feel very selfish or very disconnected to add any other color in. And I really want moms to see that they actually can have multiple colors and not be failing in one of the areas of life if they have some structure to it, if they have some boundaries, some delegation, and really communication. And so I want moms to see they can have it all, just maybe not all at the same time, not in the same second, to be mindful and to plan out their day, their week, and their month to really work towards goals that are meaningful to them.
That having those systems in place, recognizing what's important at the moment, as you say, being mindful is the huge thing. And having the flexibility to be able to have an awesome life, you need to have that flexibility built in, which requires systems to take over and support and communication to take over. When, oh, you know what? I had a meeting this afternoon and my child just got hurt on the soccer field and I need to take him to the hospital. That should not crush you. That should not crush you. And that is anybody who is honest with themselves, I feel very strongly. Family first, always. Always. But also you first.
I say health, and that can mean a lot of things: healthy marriage, healthy mind, healthy body. It's health, family, and then business for me. And if I take care of the first two, the business time that I've carved out is always more impactful, more inspired, higher vibration connections, right? If you just kind of like cram it in because you're juggling it all and it just feels so heavy and so grumpy, then the time that you do carve out to run your business, you might not get a lot done, or it just feels like you're pushing water uphill.
And For
We've
sure.
all been there.
For sure. For sure. And we say, oh, this is something I want, but I don't know how to do it. And yeah, I'll put it on the calendar, but who cares? So I'm not going to do it. So having those systems that you have created and just saying, all right, for this time, this little pie is mine to do my business, which lifts my soul, which makes me a better person for my family and my own mental health of well-being, and recognizing that I have a gift. I have a gift to share.
Yeah.
And it's just a question of finding that gift and being able to share it. And I love the fact that you are focusing on moms, but I also know a lot of our audience are not young moms.
Yeah, absolutely.
So do you focus on anybody? I mean, would you allow anybody to?
Of course. You know, what's so funny is that I just brought on, September was a robust month for me bringing on coaching clients, and I brought on 7 clients, and I would say 5 of them are like my ideal avatar, and avatar is a marketing term for like who you put your marketing out to and they find it and want to do work with you. And one of them, I believe he's in his early 70s, is a periodontist that I met on an airplane, a gentleman who I met on an airplane, and he said, I need routines, I need systems. He's preparing for a transition of retirement and wants some help on how to prepare his office to be surviving without him so he can sell his office. And so much of what I teach can be, you know, looking at how to create to-do lists that you fall in love with completing because they're in alignment with your priorities and your goals and your available time, or looking at how to really get clear on what it is that you want. Like, so many of the things that I teach are just against the grain of employee mindset, if you will. And so if you have an entrepreneurial bone in your body, you could come hang out on my podcast, follow me on Instagram. But just know, if you're offended by me saying I have, you know, that I'm a mom or a mompreneur, then maybe you don't love what I put out. But for me, when I listen to thought leaders or teachers, for me, I take what connects with me and I leave what doesn't serve me. And so I've got people who are not necessarily moms, and some of the moms are, you know, like they're empty nesters. Their kids are actually out of the home, but they still have that part of them that's always going to be in that mom role,
you're always
right?
mom.
It's not just the night feedings, it's your heart living outside of your body, and how do you juggle now having that new very important role for the rest of your life, but also saying, I deserve something for me. I deserve to bring my skills out to the world. I would like to do it and not look silly or spammy, or how do I step into social media? Like, all of that is a big part of the conversation on Your Routine Queen.
Oh, I love it. So Your Routine Queen is the name of your podcast?
It is Your Routine Queen podcast. And then over on Instagram, I'm just Your Routine Queen. And my actual website is chelseafournier.com, just my name, so people can always find me. But yeah, the podcast is Your Routine Queen podcast.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And you're always sharing information and different routines that you can.
I introduce different things, you know, some of it that I share, especially my commitment. So my number one aligned priority, I teach my clients and my team to set a number one aligned priority, 3 supporting goals, and then to create to-do lists and habits based off of that, so that at the end of the day, you feel really in alignment with all the actions you're taking, and delegate or automate some of the other stuff you got to get done. And so my 3 supporting goals right now are showing up on Instagram 2 to 3 times a day is my goal between posts and stories, really growing that community to be robust and, you know, networking with each other. My vision is that the community related to this podcast and this Instagram will one day be referring clients to each other, or I'm a virtual assistant who works with so-and-so, and creating really a forum, a community. And so showing up on Instagram is one of my supporting goals, getting that high quality podcast out every single Tuesday. Right now it comes out Tuesday at 8 a.m. Eastern time every single week onto the podcast. You can listen to it on Apple, Spotify, Google, like all the places you can listen to podcasts. And then the third is to move my body meaningfully every day. So when I set in business goals, I usually put one in that's going to be the self-care that I'm needing a reminder of. Right now, I'm needing a reminder to move my body intentionally because I was out of rhythm for so long. I grew up as a dancer. I grew up as going to the gym all the time and strengthening and flexibility. But in the season of very early motherhood, I had some injuries during labor. And so it was very challenging for me to get back into it without a lot of pain. And so now that my pain is going down and I'm integrating a lot of new healing, I'm like, okay, I got to remind myself to do some intentional movement. I have, yoga and Payo and all these different types of working out that I like to do from home. And so I really encourage people to look at how they're maybe putting, especially moms, one of the goals, even though it might not feel like business time, to me, my workouts are a business task, because if I'm not doing it, the rest of the action that I'm going to put in isn't going to be at that same vibration it could be.
That's right. And it's all about vibration, isn't it?
It sure is.
Yeah, you can feel that vibration in you. When you feel good, the world is good.
Yeah. And
you
sometimes it takes effort. And I know that you and I both use Abraham Hicks language from time to time. And so the efforting, I just find if I put the efforting into things around my mindset, my physical health, my routines around supplementation and hydration and nutrition, if that's taken care of and I put effort into that, the rest of the stuff that needs to happen unfolds a whole heck of a lot easier. And so finding how everything, even the stuff I've got to effort, like meal prepping for our family, making sure we have good quality filters on our water, so we're drinking good filtered water. Like some of that does take effort. You got to put it in place. But once it's in place, it just feels like my body feels better, my energy is more aligned, and then I'm able to sit down and do my work at a much higher level.
Well, that's it, isn't it? When you make the effort, and it doesn't have to be a big effort, but when you make the effort, that doing something that you might not really want to do, like changing the filter all the time. But it's worth it, because in the long run, the outcome is something that you really enjoy, that really makes a difference to your overall manifestation of life, of having an awesome life.
Absolutely.
So tell us again, how can people reach out to you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Great.
So to find the podcast, you can search Your Routine Queen wherever you listen to podcasts, and be able to go over and subscribe so that the weekly episode comes right to you. I'm sure Karen will be all organized and have it somewhere in the show notes as well.
It will be in the show notes there. And by the way, come over on the YouTube channel, and it will also be there.
Fantastic. And if you are someone who's like, I'm not sure how we would work together, I'm curious about an online business, or I have an online business, what would make sense? I've actually put together a quiz that's available on my main website, chelseafournier.com. If you head there, you'll see the quiz, or it will pop up at you, or something beautiful to get your attention. And it's actually called, Do You Have What It Takes to Be a Successful Mompreneur? And sometimes I kind of hate the term mompreneur, but everybody knows what it means. So that's what we're going with. But it's helping you assess what resources you have, what strengths you have, like what would make you at that next level of confidence to be a successful mompreneur. Because so many moms might follow me and say, I don't know if I can do what you do. You're on social media all the time. And I'm not. But so what this quiz is going to actually help you do is get to some of your core values of whether you're ready to put yourself out there without worrying about the how, because we can figure out the how. We can help you content batch, get organized, use Trello, all the how, as long as you're willing to say, I think I'm ready to do it, then we can show you the how. And so that quiz might just give you some really good insight into what is holding you back if you have a business that's not yet scaled to where you want it to be. Or if you just haven't said yes, you haven't taken that first step yet, by the end of the quiz, I think you'll have some insights, and it will also direct you to whatever free resource makes sense for you based on how your results come out. So it's pretty fun. It takes about 2 to 3 minutes to take, and people are getting a ton of value out of it.
Oh, that is so fantastic. So they can just go to chelseafournier.com to get that quiz.
Yeah.
And I will have the link down in the show notes here. And also your routine queen on any of the major podcast.
Instagram is, for social media, I hang out the most on Instagram, Your Routine Queen. So the whole concept is I want to help you make you be your own routine queen. But for now, I am your routine queen that you can tap into to start learning that. So you can remember it that way. I am your routine queen, and you can search that everywhere with podcasts.
Oh, fantastic. Chelsea, thank you. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today and being such an inspiration for new moms. I actually have a client that I am absolutely going to refer to you.
I love that. I would be happy to take good care of any of your listeners. And if you do reach out to me on Instagram or message me somewhere, make sure to tell me that you connected with me because of this podcast, because I might have even extra special treatment for anyone coming in through Karen's recommendation. So definitely reach out, be directive, be your own routine queen to reach out to me and say, hey, I heard you on Karen's podcast. I want an awesome life and want to chat. So I would welcome that wholeheartedly.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful. Well, thanks again. And when you do go to Awesome Life and you listen to the podcast and you love it, of course, let us know that you love it. Put information in the comments and like it. And then over on YouTube, then you can actually see the energy of this beautiful, beautiful young lady who is so amazing in everything that she does. And be sure to like and subscribe to Awesome Life in YouTube. So thank you. Thank you so much for joining us. And until next time, have an absolutely awesome life.
Thank you, Karen.
Bye-bye.